1971. We woke up in a different world, where the Cold War ended along with the Vietnam carnage. All because of the Dome. The Dome. A territory full of anomalous artifacts, phenomena, and organisms. We still don't know what it is. An alien city? Some kind of a testing ground or storage? Whatever it is, no living thing trapped under the Dome can escape it. Yet even this did not stop the research. The major powers created the Cronus Megacorporation to develop and explore the Dome. Its secrets became a lucrative business. The S.T.A.L.K.E.R station was built on top of the Dome to export the artifacts and import supplies and personnel. The city of Crystal Sands grew at the foot of the Dome, eventually becoming a major transportation hub. All this required thousands of employees, and there was no shortage of candidates. Romantics, pragmatists, and adventurers of all trades swarmed recruiting centers around the globe, seeking jobs at Cronus. You were one of those people. In 1976, your application was approved, and you went under the Dome towards the future. Whether a good one or a bad one, only time will tell. A guy wearing thick spectacles thrusts out a sweaty hand.
Monty James, Silverwing.
He glances down at your badge.
Ah, it's you. I found your file extremely interesting. And your CV, wonderful. Inspiring, really. When I had the opportunity to look over the files of my future colleagues, I couldn't resist. I don't want to sound boastful, but silver level clearance has its advantages.
Monty winks. Monty makes a ring with his thumb and forefinger.
You were number 63,784 on the waiting list, but you were lucky enough to get into the Dome after only 16 months. Besides that, zero, nada, absolutely nothing. You're a dark horse for both the Foundation and myself. How exactly did you end up in this wing?
James nods his understanding.
Yeah, the money is good, though it's slightly concerning that we're paid in company scrip. If the Dome economy ever crashes, we'll be left with nothing but toilet paper. I'd sooner be paid in Swiss francs.
An uncomfortable silence rises between you, and Monty taps the narrow illuminator panel with one finger.
Look, there's a storm rising. The lightning is strange. Green. Should lightning be green? This is my first sandstorm.
James spreads his arms regretfully.
You misunderstood. I don't carry the physical copies with me, but I did get a chance to familiarize myself with them. Ask away.
Monty presses his plump hands to his chest, as if in prayer.
Tamako Kimura from Osaka, a physiologist. She's young, but already has a PhD.
James moves so close, his lips are all but brushing your ear.
Just between you, me, and that lamppost, Kimura has an older sister, Ayaki. She's currently in jail, and Tomoko herself spent 2 years in prison, but that is strictly classified.
The Silver smiles and pats the Blue on the shoulder. As the man turns to him, Monty raises his fist in some kind of a weird salute.
Gagarin, Sputnik, Cosmos, Mir, Druzhba, Krasen, SSSR,
he says in Russian. The Blue's mustache twitches and his face wrinkles with a beaming smile.
Comrade Patanin is from the Soviet Union. He's a highly qualified construction engineer. Took part in planning the S.T.A.L.K.E.R. He's no spy. Supposedly.
Monty explains, turning to you.
Elsa Olofsson, police captain, City of Stockholm. Former captain, to be precise. Dismissed from service because of a conflicting article. Yeah, conflicting. Let's call it that.
The Silver says in hushed tones. The Black gives him an unpleasant look, but says nothing.
This is,
Monty adjusts his glasses and peers closely at the Orange's badge.
Quentin Bisley. Grand Theft Auto 3 times and 1 B&E. He was about to go down for 12 years, so he filed for the Clean Slate program. And look at that. They accepted him right away.
The Silver shakes his head in disapproval and perplexity.
Sorry, classified.
Monty laughs. He's plainly flattered by your question.
Harvard. Then I worked in the economics department at Supercolor. They produced a special television model for commuter buses. Did you know that? That was my research. What else? Well, I like sports. Water aerobics is a sport, isn't it? I don't smoke and never eat after 6 p.m. Just saying, these kinds of things aren't in the file.
So saying, Monty abruptly falls silent. The Orange is dressed in a new jumpsuit. The shiny badge on his chest reads, Quentin Bisley, Laborer. He's side-eyeing the screen skeptically. Despite his tired, grim expression, his gaze is open and friendly. However, the general impression is unmistakable. There's something frightening about Bisley. The Orange's face stretches into a broad smile, bearing his dentures to the world.
Like everyone, duh. In a black car, under guard. There's other guys, too. The ones who go through the front door.
He nods at the black-winged woman beside him. Her nose wrinkles in displeasure, but she says nothing. Quentin raises his hands to
They call them humane handcuffs. How about that? Truth is, there ain't nothing humane about them. They zap you real hard the moment you get your hands on a gun. But they sure look nice.
Bisley lowers his hands again. A tall woman is watching an ad playing on the monitor, arms crossed. The polished to a shine badge on her black overalls reads, Elsa Olofsson, Security Service. She glances at you and offers her hand in a businesslike manner.
Greetings. Please take all necessary precautions. By that I mean, don't turn your back on him.
Elsa nods at the Orange. Olofsson eyes your silvery jumpsuit and snorts.
Really? I thought you'd be the one to tell me about it. After all, your department has access to...
Her gaze shifts to the Silver standing opposite and then back to you before she turns indignantly to the window. Elsa's eyes spark angrily.
Are you saying you will take full responsibility for the possible consequences of that order?
Olofsson turns to the Orange, produces a key, and unlocks his cuffs in a smooth, well-practiced motion. Bisley is bopping his head from side.
What?
A man with a mustache and a blue jumpsuit is standing at the window, studying the construction site below through the occasional break in the clouds. His badge reads, The Blue taps on the glass with one finger and gestures you to come and take a look. Seems like he doesn't speak English. Using sign language, mimicry, and all of your artistic talent, you're able to once he's sure you're watching. Patanin points up in the direction of S.T.A.L.K.E.R station, from which he sketches the outline of the station on a broad, foggy section of glass. Once he's finished, the Blue turns to you with a delighted expression. The Blue begins to mark up his diagram with a series of footnotes and numbers. Turns out the station's ring diameter is a bit more than 1,500 meters. Its height above the dome is 317 meters, and the total height of the spire, including the loading docks, is nearly 720 meters. With a series of confident strokes, the planner delineates the capsule's movement scheme, drivetrain, and massive hydraulic brakes on the glass. This time, Igor is quite laconic. He pauses, then confidently writes cargo and personnel in block letters, and draws an arrow pointing downward. Beside it, he writes relics and draws an arrow pointing up. His R is turned back to front. The engineer stops you with a gesture, and after rummaging through his pockets, offers you a small candy. There is a picture of a crayfish on. It's surprisingly spongy and tooth-achingly sweet. You can only wonder what it has to do with. The thin, pale young woman is sitting at the window, leaning against the illuminator. The glass is slightly fogged with her breath. She turns to you. Her shiny badge reads Tomoko Kimura, physiologist.
We've crossed the border. No way back now. Even traveling by the funicular wasn't so thrilling.
The White presses small hands to her blushing cheeks.
You were thinking, why have no children been born under the dome? I've got a working hypothesis, but I'm not ready to share it yet.
She says softly, as if answering a question you didn't ask. Kimura peers through the glass in the direction you indicate.
Oh, that's the aircraft that crashed into the dome during the first expedition. I believe that's a wing fragment, and there's some white canvas. What do you think that is? Maybe a parachute?
The White shakes her head, bewildered.
I just can't believe it. It's all true. We're on our way to meet the future.
Kimura shoots you a surprised look.
You're familiar with the details of the briefing, right? To put it simply, the dome is a selectively permeable environment.
The White draws an invisible hemisphere in the air.
Inorganic objects may exit the dome without difficulty, but any living creature dies if transported back to the outside world. That's why we're all stuck here for an indefinite period of time.
Kimura is eyeing the dome's mesh, glittering in the sunlight.
Supposedly, it's something to do with the atmospheric composition, but it's a weak theory. The difference of the air within the dome is so insignificant as to fall within the margin of error. Or to put it more simply, there is no difference.
She shoots a quick glance at the silver and lowers her voice.
I heard a rumor, or a conspiracy theory, that we can leave the dome at any time. We've simply been told we can't. If you ever decide to test this hypothesis, don't forget to leave me something in your will.
Stopping by the door's porthole, you watch as the ground slowly approaches. It looks brown-black through the tinted glass and smoky blue at the horizon. It almost seems like the clouds are pulling apart there. You can discern the regular pattern of a settlement in the mists hanging over the northern section. If this is the city, it's nowhere near as miraculous as the brochure. Just a few concrete buildings surrounded by sheds. It resembles the hab pods of a space colony in a sci-fi film. Yet, the scale is impressive. In only 5 years, a small civilization has arisen from these bleak sands to tackle mankind's greatest project. The Blues and Oranges did their share of the physical labor, but the main credit belongs to the brilliant administrators from Silverwing. At least, that's what you were told during the pre-departure briefing. Just as you're about to move away from the window, you notice a whirlwind beginning to form above the ochre plain. The gathering storm drifts unhurriedly above the desert, a crown of green lightning flashing at its core. Clearly no ordinary weather phenomenon. It must be one of those anomalies. You freeze by the window, unable to avert your gaze. The outlines of the landing site, blurred by clouds of dust, appear behind the greenish glass of the porthole. The capsule shudders as the breaking...
Come here. Come on now, or you'll miss everything.
A cheerful badge reading Ludovico Nuzzi, scientific analyst, export department, dangles loosely on his clean uniform, which still smells pungently of washing powder.
Look over there.
He points upward with a sharp, wide gesture and hands you his field binoculars. You raise the binoculars to your eyes. Under fourfold magnification, the whirling cloud above the rust-colored plains looks even stranger. Its core glows with flickering green light and flashes rhythmically, and that rhythm seems to form a complicated pattern. Nuzzi bends close to your ear.
Fascinating. Do you want me to bring some filters? If we intercept the red and blue spectrums, we'll see something amazing. It's like a signal, some kind of message. I don't know.
Ludovico laughs unnervingly and with the binoculars raised to his eyes, he minutely adjusts the focus.
It's a massive whirlwind north of Concord, and not merely some desert sandstorm. That's an anomaly. I hope it lasts long enough for me to make a proper observation.
The scientist looks blankly at you, then down at his...
Ah, this? This?
Ludovico points at the building behind him.
I work in Concord Station, categorizing relics. My job is to classify them by rarity. Then the Blues package them, Silvers issue the documentation, and Oranges move them to the cargo capsule. Just like the one you arrived in.
Nuzzi points upward.
Then the capsule takes the relics way up there, all the way to the spire, then to Crystal Sands by the funicular. They get auctioned off and turned into money. It's not like
He offers you his binoculars once again.
Do you want to have a look at this?
Nuzzi looks from you to the capsule, and he flings his arms up.
Oh, mi scusi. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. You'd better get going or you'll be late for check-in. Your colleagues are already in... Yeah, the storm is growing stronger.
The White mutters and
I was starting to get bored. Have a good one.
How can I help?
Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
See ya.
Greetings. See ya.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place.
Hello, come up to the desk, please. I'll register you.
A tall receptionist watches you from behind his desk with a board. Noticing your silvery uniform, he offers up his best artificial smile.
Welcome. My name's Dean Rayhead. It's my job to help our new employees settle in. Please wait a moment or two while I...
The administrator slaps himself on the forehead.
Ah, I almost forgot the regulation pre-registration greeting. Just a second.
Rayhead produces a reel-to-reel tape recorder from beneath the desk, rewinds the tape to the beginning, and presses play. The speakers explode with a harsh, crackling sound, over which the tick-tick of a metronome slowly grows louder. Solemn music begins to play, and the administrator's face takes on a serious expression.
Dear employee, on behalf of the Cronus Foundation, I, Administrator Dean Rayhead, welcome you to your new life under the dome.
The administrator clears his throat and continues.
By joining our company, you choose the path of science and progress. You are among mankind's best, and we ask that you live up...
Dean squints down at the monitor.
Deserve this title. Do your job honestly. Obey the law. Respect your colleagues, and
The music fades, and the administrator finishes his speech.
together we will build the best possible future for all mankind.
Dean puts the tape recorder away.
Now that we're done with the official greeting, I'll register you and upgrade your Selectron. Okay?
The committee ads didn't lie. The interior of Concord Station looks just like the glossy brochure. The high ceiling is finished with matte light panels. The floor is slightly scratched, but nevertheless washed to a mirror finish. Lights gleam soothingly. Dean taps his pen on the desk to get your attention.
Time is money, my friend.
Dean's hands hover over the keyboard. He gives you a nod. You spell out your first and last names and specify your wing, profession, and test results. The Rayhet scans the computer screen.
So your position in the waiting list was 63,784. You've been assigned to Magellan Station. A special bus will bring you there after a series of briefings. Please pass me your Selectron so I can...
Dean snaps the docking port of your pass to a recess in the casing of his computer. The administrator returns your Selectron.
So, colleague, you now have first-level clearance, which gives you access to the archives on the administrative level, the warehouses, and basically everywhere else except the secure facilities. You also have admin privileges at most terminals.
Dean continues.
All new employees have a short list of tasks to perform on arrival. Do you want to hear all the details, or just the short version?
Rayhet nods and points at the ceiling.
First, you need a set of combat gear. Talk to Sidney Maynard, he'll give you everything.
Dean extends his second finger.
Second, weapons. Ms. Margarita Takachenko is the clerk at the armory. After she dispenses your firearm, you'll need to head to the training zone for a brief weapons...
The administrator straightens his third finger.
According to the latest regulations, all employees must attend a briefing on psi abilities. Apply to instructor Andriy Mihai.
Dean extends his fourth finger and looks at you meaningfully.
Did I tell you about the combat and tactical training? The fourth, and finally, science is the overarching purpose behind everything we do here. Go to Professor Van Ulden to learn how to study relics, avoid anomalies, and catalog scientific knowledge. This training is mandatory for all wings, not just White.
Dean finishes. Dean catches himself.
Oh, and when you're done with your trainings, proceed to the waiting room. From there, you'll travel to Magellan by bus.
The administrator looks up at you again. He reaches for the tape recorder, but thinks better of it.
Protocol calls for a little welcoming preamble, but dash it all, that's nonsense. Welcome to Concord Station.
As he's about to turn away, Dean suddenly remembers something.
Oh yes, I sent your mail to your Kairos. Check your new messages.
Kronos Corporation reminds you. Please use a public terminal to access your account. Thank you.
Attention.
Oh, never thought this would happen.
Carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeited.
Come back again.
Attention. Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeited. Our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Bye.
Cronus Corporation reminds you. Please use a public terminal to access your account.
Thanks to the
Thank
efforts of
you.
our brave men, it'd soon become a city. But that was only...
Cronus Corporation reminds you. Please use a public terminal to access your account. Thank you.
Your reliable guide to the world of the...
I'm all ears.
When the dome was found, a small research camp was built nearby. Thanks to the efforts of our brave men, it had soon become a city. But that was only the beginning. Around the aperture at the top of the dome, a transition station was erected, which was called the S.T.A.L.K.E.R. It's a pure engineering miracle.
Attention.
Bye-bye.
Please handle relics carefully.
Welcome.
In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Behind the storage counter, you see a small, neat. The Silver perks up at your approach. A thick logbook appears at once from under the counter. Sidney puts on thick glasses that seem to age him 5 decades in an instant and studies the lined pages. The Silver finally stops and pins down a particular page with his finger.
This is your first uniform requisition, right? You can all...
Maynard adjusts his glasses in a businesslike manner.
Before I...
Sidney fiddles with his hairstyle.
So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Life under the dome can be dangerous. That's why it's important to wear protective equipment when traveling outdoors. Of course, in hazardous situations, the equipment will get damaged, and the more it's damaged, the more often one has to repair it.
The Silver steps back from his counter to indicate the repair kit boxes piled in the back of the warehouse. He points back at the shelves behind him.
We've got repair kits for this gear. There are Blue Wing specialists ready to help you at any large base, of course, but they're not always available. So, you'd better learn how to use...
Sidney rests the logbook on the desk.
That's all the instructions. Now,
The Silver disappears into the back for a while and returns with a small pack. Unfolding the package, Maynard shows you a brand spanking new uniform. A silver suit jacket with coal-black shirt and dark trousers. Sidney studies the way the light reflects from the cloth as he lovingly smooths the jacket with one hand.
The Silver Wing uniform is fit for field conditions, just in case. But something this fine, you should treat with care, you know.
He raises a finger.
One more important thing. In accordance with Order 16-225, helmets and gloves are not issued, but they're available for purchase from me. Please bear in mind that a full set includes headgear or a mask, jacket, trousers, gloves, and boots.
Sidney hands you the package.
Here's your uniform. Enjoy.
Sidney adjusts his glasses.
Sure, I'll show you what we've got. You know, we're pretty well stocked here in Concord.
Sidney scribbles something in his logbook.
Please come back anytime if you need something.
Anything urgent, Mr. Krachkov?
Katarzyna, did you mark it as Class 1 again, instead of 2? Look, here's the scanner data. It says the relic is a scientific device.
Wait, but it's still Class 1. I'm not going to violate protocol.
Katarzyna, my dear, you may violate protocol as long as it benefits the company. Take your lead from your colleagues. Correct your report if you have to, and don't act so innocent.
Vladimir, I'm done. How do we mark it?
Class 2 fragile. Tell Noyan the relic should go out with today's flight. Think about it. A Class 2 relic will mean a bigger payoff for the company, and that means a bonus in your wages. Categorizing it as Class 2 means access to state-sealed bids. I bet the Brits will buy it. They're always trying to one-up us.
All right, Mr. Krachkov. I'll correct my report.
Carl, add sealed bids to the marking.
The smell of good tobacco wafts off this tall, portly woman from a meter away. A black lacquered pipe, an open logbook full of signatures, and a metal flip calendar sit on the counter in front of her. A small nameplate reads, Margarita Tkachenko. The woman fixes her coppery hair with one hand and casually lights her pipe.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Her voice is deep and gravelly. Margarita thumbs back a couple of pages in her logbook.
I see. This was your first receipt.
She glances at her Kairos, looks at you, snorts, and retreats to the shelves. A couple of minutes later, Tkachenko returns holding a small pistol. She puts the gun on the counter and strokes the Bakelite grip with a strange affection.
Pistols are good. Not for everyone. One needs a special skill set.
The black draws the slide with a snap, pops out the magazine with an almost imperceptible movement, and slams it back in place.
It's reliable. Has a nice heft, too, so even if it jams, you can always smack him on the head with it.
Tkachenko slides the pistol across the counter. Margarita drags on her pipe and releases a puff of thick, yellow smoke.
I see you know the rules and won't cause problems.
Tkachenko tamps down her tobacco.
Nice accuracy, but the stopping power is too low to call it a killing machine. Still, it's an all-around excellent weapon.
The armorer shrugs, puffing indifferently on her pipe.
It's the least I could do. We have a requisition list from the Silvers. For free, you receive only rubbish. If you want the real deal, check out the weaponry shop.
Leaning over the counter, the black points somewhere off to one side.
Now it's time for your training. Fatherby is already waiting for you by the big gate. But before the training zone, go see that wizard guy with his toothpicks. Be careful around him, though. Don't let him pitch you a line. Psychic my ass.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place.
I'll complain to the Silvers about that idiot. They'll take the appropriate measures.
An engineer in a bright blue jacket is tinkering with the door lock, cursing under his breath non-stop. Blowing a curly strand of hair off his forehead, he turns to you.
You're a newcomer, right? It's a straight-up open house here today.
He offers you his hand. According to his badge, this is Maxim Penkovsky, technician. The technician slaps the door with one hand.
You have to wait until I'm done. Some orange jammed up the lock with chewing gum just for a laugh. They're like animals, those oranges, marking their territory. If you ask me, they're too gracious about those bastards in Crystal Sands.
Penkovsky grunts angrily.
I wish I could. I'm gonna have to disassemble, clean, and reassemble it to get it working. It's work I don't need, and all thanks to some idiot.
Maxime extracts a thin, sharp, precision probe from behind his ear.
Though there's another way. You want to learn something about picking locks? It's a useful skill in all sorts of situations.
He looks at you expectantly. The Blue's getting excited.
All right, looky here.
Penkovsky presses his pick lock, and an odd device resembling a hybrid of a screwdriver and a can opener into your hand.
Using a mechanical pick lock is easy peasy, no special skill required. They wear out after a few locks, while the old-fashioned kind is another thing entirely. Cheap, one use, but one has to know how to use it right. That's a tool for a master.
Maxime takes out another pick lock, and he gives you a quick lesson on how to pick a lock.
By the way, you can carry your tools in your belt. It's much handier to have them right there.
Penkovsky shows you his utility belt, where he keeps all kinds of tools and gadgets.
Actually, finding tools under the dome is no problem at all. There are even devices for hacking terminals and so on.
Maxime hoists up his belt. The Blue solemnly raises his index finger.
And one more thing. Always use brand name stuff if you can. Groovy produces good kits. Modus and Supercolor do too. They've all got fat contracts with Cronus, so they care about quality.
He looks at the door again.
Damn these locks. Though I'd rather be doing this than fixing hab pods. Those are a real pain in the ass.
Penkovsky gives you a patronizing look.
Because they're poorly made, warped from the heat, and the filters aren't worth a damn. The modules were constructed by marketing managers, not engineers. Building a city in the desert was also their idea. This project is all about PR. Cronus wants to show the world how tough they are. I repeat, get a lockpick and attach it to your utility belt.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
And then, apply it to the door. Yes, apply is the proper word.
Remember, our honest work will make the world
You're doing well. Just don't forget to pick up your uniform and weapons. It'll be awkward for you if the door gets stuck again.
Well, you've got quite an aura.
A lean silver with thick black hair and a huge cigar clamped in his teeth is sitting in front of you. As you approach, he flashes a sly grin and slowly raises an outstretched hand above the table. Something really weird happens. All the paper clips, pencils, scattered toothpicks, and bits of trash float up from the table and hang in the air. The silver badge reading Andre Mihai, Science Instructor, floats up as well. You thrust your hand forward, and your outspread fingers emit barely visible sparks of energy. The silver sticks out his lower lip as if to say, not bad, and gives you a thumbs up. The objects clatter back onto the table.
Here for the briefing, huh? Shall we get to it?
He takes the cigar out of his mouth and exhales a lush cloud of smoke. The silver props his elbows on the table.
Anyway, here's the deal. It's more profitable for people with a high psyche to study psionics. Give me your hand.
Please handle relics carefully.
Not waiting for an answer, he jerks his hand back at once, then touches you again, carefully and distrustfully.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. You know you've got one hell of a talent, huh? Slimy little bastard, you. You want to take my office, I know. But you sure got some power there.
The silver takes a thin glove covered in talc from his desk and passes it to you.
Look, a glove, right? But it isn't just a glove. This is an ooh mama, hold me tight glove. It takes energy from your noggin, your psyche, and pew, concentrates it.
He counts off on his fingers.
Learn psionics. Put on the glove. Transform energy into the necessary shape. That's the whole briefing. Simple? Simple. Now to your questions, huh?
The silver takes a pull at his cigar and releases a self-important puff of smoke.
Psionics. It's a gift for all of us. The forefathers took off someplace. Poof, gone. Only the dome remains. And this. Psionics, huh?
He rocks back in his armchair, puffing on his cigar. The toothpicks again slowly rise up from the table. Mihai spreads his dark hands. Toothpicks hover around his head in a kind of halo.
Scientists say everyone has an organic skill called psyche. You have it, I have it, everyone has it, huh? Big psyche? You got talents. Small psyche? No talents. You'll need to carry a lighter all your life.
Mihai spreads his hands good-naturedly as if to say, you're welcome. The toothpicks on the table skitter around for a moment, arranging themselves into a curse word. The silver laughs loudly at his joke. The cigar falls from his mouth to float in the air, ash flaking weightlessly from the tip. Mihai smiles around his...
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Tkachenko grunts a greeting without removing the pipe from her mouth.
Just tell me what you want so we can dispense with all the how are yous and phony smiles your lot's so fond of. Straight to business.
Tkachenko opens the big black logbook on the counter.
Why not?
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Welcome Under the Dome, an amazing excursion to a world of new technology and the riddles of an ancient civilization. Listen to this information, useful for all wings, and receive a colorful leaflet. Hello!
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
See ya! Hey, first day under the dome? You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous forefathers and the IRS? You need something but don't know exactly what it is? Contact us! We're Silverwing. We know what you need better than you do. Yes, we know all about your needs, because we're the ones who formed them. And now I'm offering you a solution. Listen to my brief educational lecture and hey, first day under the dome? You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous...
You see a tall scientist in a white lab coat, bathed in the dim lamplight. He almost appears to be hovering above the laboratory floor.
Yes, we know all about your needs.
The man turns at your footsteps. He's holding a paper clipboard and a pencil. His shimmering silver badge reads Sebastian Van. He glances from you to the glittering watch on his wrist.
I want us to respect one another's time. Please speak loudly, clearly, and to the point. You must be the newcomer I was told about.
Finished with his unusual greeting, he offers you his thin hand. The scientist puts the clipboard aside, raises his... He shows you his watch dial.
According to the rules of this briefing, I have to touch on a large number of topics. Therefore, I will do so very briefly. Do not interrupt me. When I'm finished, I'll answer your questions. Within regulations, of course.
Sebastian produces his handheld and clicks some buttons.
I checked your scanner. It's working and is connected to the Minerva database. Everything you scan will earn you Kronos or Forefathers knowledge points.
The instructor watches you with displeasure.
Are you listening? Scan everything that might be of scientific interest. First of all, anomalies. They could be dangerous. Make sure to always have medication with you.
He places a canvas pouch in your hand.
This pouch is full of bolts. You can temporarily discharge an anomaly by throwing a bolt into it. It's primitive, but reliable.
Van Olden pushes a button on his stopwatch.
So, my oral briefing fell within the allotted span of time. Any questions you want to ask me?
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage...
Sebastian snorts skeptically.
Oh, great. You're even ignorant of the basics. Minerva is a mainframe located at Magellan Base, where you'll be going soon, by the way. The Minerva disk stores the database containing every piece of information about the Dome and the company's employees. It is thanks to this scanning that the database is constantly updated. Are you ready for the second part of the briefing, or do you have any more?
The White scowls in annoyance.
Do you know anything at all? What did you come under the Dome for anyway? You get knowledge. For scanning anomalies and relics, you receive 4 father points. Scanning the company's property and employees, living or dead, earns you Chronos knowledge points.
He explains.
You can exchange knowledge points for medication and equipment as part of the volunteer research program. Are you ready for the next part? The clock is ticking.
The instructor taps his watch meaningfully. Sebastian pulls a scanner from his pocket.
I will demonstrate this only once. To switch on the scanner, press the button on the right side of the manipulator housing. The scanning beam is narrow. It's intended to focus on one object at a time.
Van Olden turns on the scanner and continues.
My advice is to scan anything that might be of scientific or statistical interest. Relics, forefathers' objects, automatic doors, vehicles, vending machines, deceased employees.
He turns the screen.
You'll need some one-use stimulator injectors, bandages to stop bleeding, and anti-radiation agents and radio protectors, including ARAD-3.
The White ticks these off on his fingers. He produces a black-capped, transparent plastic jar out of his pocket.
According to protocol, you should have this medicine. I'll give it to you as soon as we proceed to the practical part of the briefing. Are you ready, by the way, or do you have any questions?
The researcher winces.
Why do I have to spell out every single thing for you?
The scientist glances at his watch again.
You're within the time.
He rests one finger on the button in preparation to start the timer.
You're going to go downstairs and scan relics. I will be monitoring your progress. Please note there are several radioactive anomalies in the ecozone. These are the same conditions you'll be working in the field. Radioactive zones and relics are quite common under the Dome.
He smoothly extracts a jar of yellow pills from his pocket.
Here's your...
Hey, first day under the Dome? You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous forefathers and the IRS? You need something but don't know exactly what it is? Contact us. We're Silverwing. We know what you need better than you do. Yes.
As dry as a nun's gusset. What an inhospitable wilderness, you'll say. And I fully agree with you. But what if I told you that in a year, you'll be lying by a swimming pool, sipping a margarita right on this spot? Sounds like a sci-fi story. But we aren't strangers to sci-fi here. The detailed plans are ready. And according to them, there will soon be a real resort city in the West. With bars, therapeutic
Scared?
saunas.
Worried about ravenous forefathers and the
Sure,
IRS?
I'll come.
Please stand by for decontamination to end.
This is a hologram, and the dome from the inside. See you next time.
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Van Olden gestures back at the ecozone.
You have... Be careful around the anomalies. Touch one of them and you'll be injured. Toss up journal entry. A successful scanning attempt. You're doing all right so far. Go ahead. Keep an eye on you and make sure you don't... Don't touch the relics with your hands, employee. Use your scanner. Radiation sickness will not add to your knowledge. Journal entry. 2 objects scanned. And again, watch out for anomalies. Touch one and you'll be injured. Toss a ball to the anomalies. Journal entry. All 3 objects have been successfully scanned. Come upstairs, employee.
Yes.
Sebastian meets you on the platform.
Your finishing time.
He clicks the stopwatch button, fixing the result. The scientist turns back to his notes.
Not bad. One question. You observed several anomalies while scanning. Why do you think they appeared? I'd like to hear your opinion.
The scientist assumes a superior expression.
I knew you'd come up with something like that. I see you understand.
He glances at the shimmering blue light in the eco-zone.
The truth is, we don't know the precise reason for these phenomenon either. We actually know nothing, no matter how much we try to convince ourselves otherwise.
Sebastian points a thin finger at the clustered lightning.
I personally believe that the anomalies are the dome's security mechanism. The ones you saw are relatively harmless, but there are different anomalies in the desert, phenomenon that toy with the human mind.
Van Olden clasps his hands behind his back.
I know you don't care, but I'll say it anyway. Scientists today are required to be wonder workers who can heal cancer with a wave of their hand and solve the secrets of the universe during their coffee break. For some reason, no one wants to understand that fundamental science is always an investment in the future. It produces no answers here and now.
The White's gaze strays back to his clipboard.
If something terrible happens under the dome one day, and I'm sure it will, science will protect no one. That is all. Off you go.
I fully agree with you, but what if I told you that in a year you'll be lying and swimming in a
Hey, first day under the dome.
Attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Salutations.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
See ya.
Please stand by for decontamination to end.
be a real resort city in the West, with bars, casinos,
Hey, first day under the dome. You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous forefathers in the IRS? You need something but don't know exactly what it is? Contact us. We're Silverwing. We know what you need better than you do. Yes, we know all about your needs because we're the ones who formed them. And now I'm offering you a solution. Listen to my brief educational lecture. Great. Local lecture and leaflet have already been paid for. You'll get your salary.
home from the inside. With me, Victoria LeGray.
I can see you, you know.
You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous forefathers in the IRS? You need something but don't know exactly what it is? Contact us. We're Silverwing.
What if I told you that in a year you'll be lying by a swimming pool, sipping a margarita right on this
for decontamination to end.
The real queen. This is Victoria Legrand, and the dome from the inside. See you next time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the dome from the inside with me, Victoria Legrand. As you can see, there are endless salt plants in the way.
A middle-aged black is sitting behind the counter with his hands in his lap. The buttons and zippers on his uniform are polished to a shine, and even his badge, Winston Botherby, Instructor, has been buffed so much it hurts to look at it. Botherby frowns as you approach.
Your first act is being late for the briefing. Are you going to be late for your funeral as well?
The black looks you over.
Yes, I see the weapon received checkmark. Looks like you are fully prepared to disappoint me. You are prepared, right?
Botherby leans over the counter and directs you to the doors.
Behind this door is a combat simulation computer. Launch it and begin your course.
He raises his index finger.
The conditions in the training zone closely simulate those one would experience in the field. Your goal is to avoid getting lost and dying of dehydration. And try to aim the barrel away from yourself when shooting.
Pulling a notepad from his pocket, the instructor jots down your name.
Your goal is to hit 3 targets. I'm going to monitor you and advise as necessary. And try not to burst into tears. That's all. Go ahead.
You'll be lying by a swimming pool, sipping a margarita right on this spot. Sounds like a sci-fi story.
Try not to get too cocky.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Dome from
Hey,
the
first day
inside
under the dome?
with me, Victoria LeGrand. As you can
Worried
see,
about ravenous
there are
forefathers in the
endless salt
IRS?
pans
You
in the
need
western
something, but
region
don't know
behind
exactly
me.
what
The sun reflects blindingly from the salt, and the air is as dry as a nun's gusset. What an inhospitable wilderness, you'll say. And I fully agree with you. But what if I told you that in a year, you'll be lying by a swimming pool, sipping a...
Botherby nods grandly.
You made it through training without making a total fool of yourself. Congratulations. I'll send a report up the chain about your completely...
According to them, there will soon be a real resort city in the West, with bars, casinos, spas, and therapeutic saunas. I don't know about you, but I'm sure I'll come here in a year and will feel like a real queen. This is Victoria LeGrand.
Contact
and the
us.
Dome from
We're Silverwing. We know what you need better than you do. Yes, we know all about your needs.
Ed, spit
because
it
we're
out.
the ones who formed
I
them.
can see that something's bothering you.
Well,
First day under the dome? You feeling lost and
it's a
scared?
bit of a private matter.
Worried
you
about
see.
ravenous
God.
forefathers in the IRS?
Come on
You need
already.
something, but
We
don't know
can't just
exactly
hand
what it
Miss
is.
Norway
Contact
over to
us.
the Silvers, see?
We're Silverwing.
She's
We know
she's
what you need
unique among
better than you do.
relics.
Yes,
Ed, we already
know all
discussed
about your
this.
needs,
The relic's
because we're the ones
effect
who
is
formed
well
them.
known.
And now I'm offering
It's
you
nothing but
special
semantic
services to
imitation.
keep paying.
I wrote
First
you
day under
about
the
it,
dome?
remember?
I
Feeling
know.
lost and
Well,
scared?
there's
Worried
there's
about
something
ravenous
else.
forefathers in
She's
the IRS?
rational.
You
No,
need
really.
something, but don't
I've
know
talked with her
exactly
for
what it is.
hours.
Contact us.
Damn it, Ed.
We're Silverwing.
The relic doesn't
We know what
speak.
you need better than you do.
It's some kind of
Yes, we know
subliminal
all about
wave
your
field
needs,
messing with your
because we're
head.
the ones
It's
who formed
you
them.
having both
And now I'm
sides of the
offering you
conversation with
something to listen to
Norway.
for free. And hey, first day
All
under the
inside
dome?
your head.
You feeling lost and scared?
You're imagining that
Worried
it's
about
rational.
ravenous forefathers
That's it.
in the IRS? You
We've
need
gone
something, but
through
don't know
all
exactly
that.
what it is.
Doctor,
Contact us.
what if it's the other
We're
way round?
Silverwing.
What if she made you believe she's not rational?
Eddie!
But you can't exclude the possibility, can you?
And now I'm off. Hey, first day under the dome? You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous forefathers in the IRS?
Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case
You
of
need
damage,
something but don't know exactly what it is? Contact us.
remember,
We're Silverwing.
honest work will
We know
make
what you
the
need
world a
better than you do.
place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place.
Yes, we know all about your needs because we're the ones who formed them. Now I'm on to the solution. Listen to my brief educational lecture and receive an illustrated leaflet. Don't worry, both the lecture and leaflet have already been paid for.
Hiya.
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit.
Have a good one.
Hey, first day under the dome? You feeling lost and scared? Worried about ravenous forefathers in the IRS? You need something but don't know exactly what it is?
Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Remember, our honest work will make the world a better place. World a better place. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Attention, attention. Please handle relics carefully. In case of damage, your life will be forfeit. Our honest work will make the world a better
Contact
place.
us. We're Silverwing.
A better place.
We know what you need better.